Today we're tackling something that's going to make a lot of people angry. Las Vegas is emptier than it's been in years. Tourism's down. Hotel occupancy's dropping. And here's the wild part. It's not an accident. It's the plan. Vegas isn't struggling because it can't attract visitors. It's struggling because casino operators have made a calculated decision. They'd rather have fewer guests spending more money than lots of guests spending less. They're literally kicking out regular people to make room for high rollers. And the CEO of Caesars Entertainment said this out loud. In 2023, Caesars CEO Tom Reeg told analysts, "You're bringing in higher value customers and you're already full, so you're kicking out the lowest end. I see no reason that needs to stop." The head of one of Vegas's biggest casino companies openly admitted they're pushing out budget travelers and middle-class families. Not because there's no demand, because those people aren't profitable enough. First up, we need to understand what changed. For decades, Vegas operated on a simple model. Get as many people through the door as possible. Offer cheap rooms, free parking, affordable buffets, complimentary drinks while you're gambling. The idea? Volume equals profit. Sure, you lose money on the $40 hotel room, but you make it back when that guest spends hours at the slots or blackjack tables. This strategy worked. Vegas became one of the most visited cities in America. Regular people could afford to visit multiple times a year. The Strip was packed. Casinos were buzzing. Everyone from retirees to young couples to families could experience Vegas without breaking the bank. But starting around 2016, the strategy shifted. Major operators like MGM and Caesars decided volume wasn't the answer anymore. They wanted fewer guests spending more per visit, higher room rates, paid parking, premium experiences. Push out the budget travelers and focus on wealthy tourists and high rollers. Why the shift? A few reasons. Corporate consolidation meant fewer independent operators making decisions. Wall Street pressure demanded higher profit margins quarter after quarter. And post-pandemic inflation gave companies cover to raise prices aggressively. The result? A completely different Vegas. One that's less accessible, more expensive, and deliberately exclusionary. Moving on to the data, and it's brutal. June 2025 saw about 3.1 million visitors. Sounds like a lot, right? But that's down over 11% compared to June 2024. Hotel occupancy dropped. Average daily room rates dropped. The Strip felt emptier. But here's what's really interesting. Despite fewer visitors and lower occupancy, casinos weren't panicking. Because the visitors who were coming were spending more. Gaming revenue held up. VIP table action remained strong. The high-end market was still there. Strip net income for fiscal year 2024, down over 40% year over year, even though revenue actually increased. That tells you costs are up, margins are compressed, and the business model's under strain. But operators are sticking with the premium strategy anyway. Room tax collections hit a record of $382.7 million in fiscal year 2024. The question is whether they'll adjust strategy or just keep pushing for higher value guests. Now check this out. The fee situation in Vegas has gotten absolutely out of control. And it's not accidental. It's a deliberate tool to extract more money and filter out budget-conscious travelers. Resort fees? Most Strip hotels now charge $35 to $55 per night before tax. After tax, you're looking at $40 to $62. And these fees aren't included in the advertised room rate. You book a $99 room thinking you got a deal, then discover it's actually $150 after fees. In December 2024, MGM bumped resort fees at luxury properties to $55, many others to $50. These weren't small adjustments. These were significant hikes designed to boost revenue per room. Parking fees used to be free everywhere. Now you're paying high teens on weekdays, low 20s on weekends. More during events. MGM alone makes over $100 million annually from parking charges. That's real money. But it's also a barrier that drives away drive in visitors from California and Arizona. Restaurant surcharges? Some Strip venues add concession recovery fees. 4 to 5% or more tacked onto your bill. Not a tip, not a tax, just extra revenue. Many guests don't even notice until they look closely at the receipt. Ticket fees for shows and entertainment? Expect the checkout total to be 20 to 40% higher than the advertised face value. Service fees, facility fees, processing fees, all designed to boost revenue. ATM fees? The US average hit a record $4.86 in 2025. Casino floors? Often higher. Some charge $8 to $12 per withdrawal. You're paying just to access your own money. Here's the thing. Each individual fee might seem small. $5 here, $10 there, but they add up fast. And psychologically, they create friction. Every surprise charge makes you trust the casino less, makes you question whether Vegas is worth it. But wait, it's not just fees. The actual gambling rules have gotten worse for players. This is sneaky because casual visitors don't always notice. Blackjack's the perfect example. Traditional blackjack pays 3 to 2 on a natural 21. That's the standard. But now, most low-limit tables on the Strip pay 6 to 5. Doesn't sound like a huge difference, right? Wrong. Moving from 3 to 2 payouts to 6 to 5 raises the house edge by 1 to 2 percentage points. That's a massive hidden tax on casual players. Want to play 3 to 2 blackjack? You need to find higher limit tables. $35 or $50 minimums instead of 10 or 15. The good rules are reserved for people betting big money. Everyone else gets the worst game. Slot machine returns? The transcript claimed 85 to 88%. That's actually too low. Official Nevada Gaming Control Board data shows Strip slot hold is around 8 to 10%. That means player return is roughly 90 to 92%. Still worse than off-strip casinos, where returns run closer to 94 to 95%. But the point stands. Strip slots are tighter. Complimentary drinks? Used to flow freely if you were gambling. Now many properties gate free drinks to active wagering. You need to be betting enough to earn drink vouchers. The free flow comp culture that defined vintage Vegas is dying. All these rule changes serve the same purpose. Extract more from each guest. Make casual gambling less favorable. Encourage people to either bet more or leave. Here's what's sad. Vegas used to be full of free spectacles that anyone could enjoy. The Mirage Volcano erupting every hour. Treasure Island's pirate show. Cheap buffets and cocktails. These attractions brought people to the Strip even if they weren't big gamblers. The Mirage Volcano? Gone. Demolished in August 2024 as the property converts to Hard Rock. That volcano was iconic. Tourists would gather around the lagoon every night to watch. Free entertainment that created foot traffic and energy. Treasure Island pirate shows ended back in 2013. Another free spectacle eliminated. Marvel Avengers STHION at Treasure Island closed January 1st, 2024. The era of free or low-cost spectacle is over. It's been replaced by premium, curated experiences. Things you pay for. Things designed for wealthy tourists, not families on a budget. Even buffets have been decimated. The affordable buffet used to be a Vegas staple. Now, premium buffets charging $40 to $60 per person. Breakfast plates costing $25 to $30. The cheap eats that made Vegas accessible are disappearing property by property. This isn't about companies struggling to afford free attractions. It's about deliberately removing things that attract lower spending guests. If you eliminate the free volcano show and cheap buffet, you filter out the budget travelers. That's the strategy. Moving on to impact. And it's devastating for certain groups. Budget travelers and middle-class families? Priced out. They can't afford $55 resort fees, paid parking, $40 buffets, and degraded gambling rules. They're choosing other destinations or regional casinos closer to home. Drive-in visitors from California, Arizona, and Utah, the traditional backbone of midweek Vegas business, declining. Why drive to Vegas and pay for parking when you can visit a tribal casino an hour from home? Local residents? Completely alienated. Locals used to frequent Strip casinos for gaming, dining, and entertainment. Now they avoid the Strip entirely. Paid parking and tourist pricing pushed them out. And that matters because locals provide steady, reliable business during slow periods. Small businesses near the Strip? Suffering. When tourist volume drops, foot traffic disappears. Tips dry up. Revenue plunges. But these businesses don't benefit from the high roller strategy the way big casinos do. Workers in hospitality? Reduced hours and lower tips. When there are fewer guests, there are fewer shifts. When guests are more price conscious, tips decrease. Housekeepers, dealers, servers, bartenders are all feeling the squeeze. Who benefits? Casino executives and shareholders in the short term. High rollers and wealthy tourists who get less crowded casinos and premium experiences. That's it. Everyone else loses. Here's another wrinkle. International tourism to Vegas has softened significantly in 2025. Canadian visitors? Way down. Air Canada and other carriers report major declines in passengers flying to Vegas. Canadians used to be one of the largest international segments. Why? Currency exchange rates make US trips more expensive. Trade tensions and political friction. And frankly, Canadians hearing about Vegas being overpriced and not worth it anymore. Mexican tourism? Also declining. European and Asian tourism? Haven't fully recovered to pre-pandemic levels. This matters because international tourists typically stay longer and spend more per trip than domestic tourists. Losing that segment hurts. But instead of adjusting pricing to be more competitive, Vegas operators are doubling down on premium positioning. They're betting wealthy international travelers will keep coming despite higher prices. That's a risky bet, especially when other global destinations are competing aggressively for those same tourists. Let's come back to that Tom Reed quote, because it's genuinely shocking in its honesty. You're bringing in higher value customers and you're already full, so you're kicking out the lowest end. I see no reason that needs to stop. This was said in May 2023 during an analyst call. Not leaked, not taken out of context. He said this deliberately to Wall Street analysts to explain Caesars' strategy. Want to know what this means for tourists? It means you're not welcome in Vegas unless you're wealthy. If you're a regular person trying to plan an affordable vacation, Vegas isn't for you anymore. The casino operators have made that decision explicitly, and here's the irony. As we've seen from 2025 data, the strategy isn't even working perfectly. Tourism's down, occupancy's down, revenue's up, but net income's way down. The math isn't adding up the way they thought it would, but they're committed. They've gone all in on premium positioning. Admitting the strategy failed would mean reversing course. Bringing back free parking, cutting resort fees, lowering restaurant prices, improving gambling rules. That would require humility and long-term thinking that doesn't seem to exist. Get this, the Strip actually benefits from being less crowded for the guests who are there. Shorter lines, easier restaurant reservations, less traffic, better pool access. If you're a wealthy tourist paying premium prices, a less crowded Vegas is actually a better experience. So from the operator's perspective, the emptiness isn't a bug, it's a feature. They've created a feedback loop. Higher prices push out budget travelers. Fewer budget travelers means less crowding. Less crowding attracts more premium guests. Premium guests tolerate higher prices. Repeat. The problem? This only works up to a point. Vegas needs energy, needs buzz, needs that feeling of excitement and possibility. An empty casino doesn't feel exciting. It feels dead. And eventually, even wealthy tourists will notice. There's also an economic tipping point. Vegas has massive fixed infrastructure. Hotels, casinos, convention centers, restaurants. These facilities cost money to operate regardless of occupancy. When occupancy drops below certain thresholds, the economics break. You can't make up volume shortfalls entirely through higher per guest spending. Here's what's really interesting. The fee and pricing strategy has created a trust crisis. Vegas used to feel generous. Comps, free drinks, cheap food. You knew the casino would win in the long run, but at least they treated you well in the meantime. Now, Vegas feels extractive. Every interaction feels designed to take more money from you. Hidden fees, surprise charges, Worse gambling rules. Expensive everything. Social media is full of people calling Vegas a scam, saying it's not worth it anymore, warning friends not to visit. That negative word of mouth is incredibly damaging. Once you've lost trust, it's almost impossible to rebuild. The drip pricing model creates friction cost fatigue. Lots of small, unexpected charges feel worse than one big, transparent price. Guests arrive excited and leave feeling nickel and dimed. That's not how you build loyalty. But wait, Vegas isn't competing in a vacuum. Regional casinos have gotten much better over the past decade. Nicer facilities, better amenities, more entertainment options, and they're closer to where people live. No flight required, no hotel needed. Just drive over for the evening. Online gambling and sports betting? Exploding? You can bet on sports from your couch in most states now. Play casino games online in several states. That removes a core motivation for visiting Vegas. Other entertainment destinations? Competing aggressively for the same tourist dollars. Theme parks, beach resorts, European cities, all offering good value and treating guests well. Vegas is betting that its unique brand and spectacle will keep people coming despite higher prices and worse value. But that's a dangerous bet. Once people have alternatives and their perception of Vegas has soured, they'll vote with their wallets. Looking ahead, Vegas has a choice: double down on the premium strategy and accept lower volume, or pivot back toward accessibility and value. Doubling down means continuing with high fees, paid parking, premium positioning, accepting that visitation will remain below peak levels, banking on wealthy tourists and high rollers to make up the difference. This could work, but it's risky, requires perfect execution, and alienates the traditional customer base. Pivoting toward value means cutting or bundling resort fees, bringing back free parking for hotel guests, lowering food and beverage prices, improving gambling rules at lower limits, reintroducing affordable entertainment. This would likely boost visitation and rebuild trust. But it requires admitting the premium strategy didn't work. Right now, most signs point to operators doubling down. Resorts World ran a no resort fees promo over the summer. Limited time. Marketing ploy. Not a fundamental strategy shift. MGM and Caesars keep raising fees and maintaining premium positioning. The question is whether market reality will force a change. If visitation keeps declining, if occupancy keeps dropping, if revenue can't make up for volume shortfalls, operators will have to adjust. But how long will they wait? How much pain will they endure before changing course? Here's the thing. This isn't just about Vegas. It's about a broader shift in how corporations think about customers. The idea that it's better to have fewer profitable customers than lots of less profitable customers. That's spreading across industries. Airlines do this with basic economy versus premium cabins. Retailers do this with luxury positioning. Entertainment venues do this with VIP experiences. The model's everywhere. But Vegas is unique because it was built on accessibility. Anyone could visit. Anyone could feel like a high roller for a weekend. That democratization of luxury was Vegas's special sauce. When you abandon that, you're abandoning what made Vegas special in the first place. The Strip can still win. Bundle fees transparently, so guests know total cost up front. Restore some mass market value. 3-2 blackjack at accessible limits. Reasonable food and beverage pricing. Free or validated parking for hotel guests. Rebalance spectacle with accessibility. Or risk becoming an empty luxury stage. A place that's gorgeous and high-end but lacks energy and soul. Where the free attractions are gone. Where regular people aren't welcome. Where the magic died because corporate spreadsheets optimized it away. Ready for this? I think Vegas is making a massive mistake. The premium strategy might work on a spreadsheet, might make sense to Wall Street analysts, but it's killing the soul of the city. Vegas was never supposed to be Monaco or Saint-Tropez. It was supposed to be a place where regular Americans could escape for a weekend and feel special, where a school teacher from Iowa could sit at a blackjack table next to a millionaire, where everyone got free drinks and decent odds and a good time. That version of Vegas is dying, and with it dies something uniquely American. A place built on optimism and accessibility, and the idea that everyone deserves a little glamour in their lives. The executives making these decisions are so focused on quarterly earnings and profit margins that they've forgotten what made Vegas great. They've turned hospitality into yield management, turned entertainment into revenue optimization, turned guests into data points on a spreadsheet. And you know what? I think it'll backfire. You can't build a lasting business on making customers feel unwelcome. You can't sustain tourism by deliberately emptying your city. You can't maintain a brand by betraying everything that brands stood for. Eventually, the pendulum will swing back. Either current leadership will figure it out, or they'll be replaced by people who understand that Vegas needs volume and energy and accessibility to thrive. But how much damage will be done in the meantime? How many workers will lose jobs? How many small businesses will close? How long will it take to rebuild trust? Las Vegas is empty on purpose. Casino operators have made a calculated decision to push out budget travelers and middle-class families, to focus on wealthy tourists and high rollers, to prioritize profit per guest over total volume. The CEO of Caesars said it out loud. "You're kicking out the lowest end. I see no reason that needs to stop." That's the strategy. That's the plan. And it's being executed through resort fees, parking charges, restaurant surcharges, degraded gambling rules, and elimination of free attractions. The consequences? Tourism down, occupancy down, trust broken, workers suffering, small businesses struggling, an entire city's brand being damaged. The irony? It's not even working financially the way they thought. Revenue's up, but net income's way down. The math isn't mathing, but they're committed. They've gone all in, and they're dragging the entire city down with them. Vegas still has time to fix this. Bring back transparency. Restore value. Remember that hospitality means making guests feel welcome, not finding new ways to charge them. But the clock's ticking. Every month of declining visitation makes recovery harder.